One of my favorite memories at Life was specifically getting involved with Student LIFEforce. I remember, and I still am in contact with some of my friends like Kane and Spencer. There was a scholarship for if you're gonna practice in Ohio, then you would get it throughout while you're in school, and then the Ohio State Chiropractic Association also gave out one annual scholarship per year, and I applied to that when I graduated. And yeah, right before I graduated, they came down and presented it, which was really cool. Because typically they do it at their annual convention in Columbus, and then through that I've been more involved postgraduate with the Ohio State Chiropractic Association. So on my local districts, like I'm the treasurer of our local district, and then I'm also a co-chair of the membership committee for the state. So we are a family practice. I take care of newborns. I've seen all the way, like as young as on the way home from the hospital before they even got home, and then I've seen mid-90s year old patients. And we are, I don't know if you want to say high volume, but I mean, we we've I'm third generation 10th chiropractor in my family, so it's families taking care of families is one of my favorite like taglines, because I mean I've taken care of multiple generations of families that have seen multiple generations of us doctors. So yeah, I still work in the same clinics that my parents do, and I should be purchasing the clinics in a couple of years. I plan on hiring more doctors, especially once they start stepping away, just to be able to maintain the same patient flow. And we have two locations, Brookville Chiropractic Center and Tip City Chiropractic Center, and I alternate between each of them. So alternate with my dad so that we can see both locations and keep them both open at least 5 days a week, 6 days a week at one of them. It's busy taking care of the kids, but she works 3 half days a week at the same office that I do in Brookville. To provide more chiropractic care to a North Dayton area, and a lot of that is through the systems that have been working for generations, and I'm going to kind of continue that, maybe a little tweaks here and there, obviously with some technology improvements, because we still use travel cards and stuff from old times, but we also use ChiroTouch and do digital note taking, and yeah, it's an up-to-date practice in that aspect. But if the power goes out, we're still full go because we have the old methods that we can go to as well, and still have the patient's information and chart and all that. So it's pretty cool. Am pretty active in the Young Catholic Professionals group out of Columbus, so I'll drive out there, and they have a lot of really good events, networking with young professionals and some people in the healthcare field, but it's all across the spectrum: tech, finance. Yeah, so anyways, that's a good group. I'm hosting an event at my house soon. They have a monthly Bourbon and Brothers event. It's more of like a fraternal fellowship kind of thing, and it's a bunch of young adult Christians in the area, and we'll once a month get together. So I'll be hosting that at my house in May. So I was always the one that did all the classes ahead of time, hammered down on my academics and did very well. And the 13th and 14th quarter, all I had was my peak classes left, and I double peaked out of state and got more experience in Ohio as far as at a different high volume clinic, and then graduated a quarter early as a salutatorian. And if I had spread it out, then I would have probably graduated as a valedictorian. We kind of figured that out if I graduated the class I started with. But it worked out because then I have to give a speech, I guess. So for me, it's been quite a bit of the example that's been set before me. Knowing, like, my dad working 6 days a week for 20 years, like, and they also run other businesses. Learning from them, I love to I always thought in that way as well, like in a growth mindset, and that was like one aspect. But the other biggest was growing up, I felt like we were like one of the healthiest families in town, and I was like, why is that? And it was just the way we lived. And then I went to a life leadership weekend, and I was like, oh, like, this is why. And it gave words and philosophy to the background and the wording to the ways that we actually lived. Because otherwise it was like, oh, it's just how it was. But when I went to that, then I was like, oh my gosh, I want that for my future family. So I decided to become a chiropractor. And therefore I'm driving and preparing to provide well for my future family and give them a beautiful, healthy, full life as well. So my parents went to Life, and then my grandpa was in school before Life was around. Life leadership was one of the things that definitely, like, I'm gonna be a chiropractor. Like, after that, it was always my parents like, do whatever you want, chiropractic, here's the benefits, like, this is how we live. And but it wasn't like pushed. I knew I could be whatever I wanted. I had the ability that God blessed me with to be able to do whatever I pursued or whatever I wanted to pursue. So I went with what was the most successful in the physically, like, having a whole I like the all-encompassing, like, whole health aspect. So spiritually, with our faith, as you can see the cross, right behind, allowing the immune system to thrive by supporting it, and emotionally, mentally, socially, and relationships, like, all those support each other. And I found that through our faith and through chiropractic. So yeah, they all upheld that. In high school, when I decided to be a chiropractor, and I wanted that foundation of my faith before I went to chiropractic school, so I went to a Catholic undergrad that was very foundational. And then Franciscan University of Steubenville in Eastern Ohio, and I graduated there with honors and an environmental science award. And I graduated early as well because I knew I wanted to go down to Life right after. And I also got to travel the world while I was over there because they had a study abroad program. So I was in Europe for a whole semester, and that fueled my passion for travel. But I haven't done much traveling since 2020. Yeah, then I jumped right in and hammered through the chiropractic program. But I planned on going to Life sooner, but I did fall in love with my undergrad, so I stayed to finish my bachelor's there. I plan on getting just the prerequisites and entering in the doctorate program right away. Do that because it's the most effective dollar for dollar return to get through the doctorate program, because the longer you're in school, the longer you're paying money and not earning, and school's not cheap by any means. Ultimately, that place had like some of the greatest community and faith life formation there. So I led an organization of about 40 guys, and there was it's kind of like a Catholic fraternity, and it was like a mini seminary. Now having that was like the sacramental life. So there's as a Catholic, there, and Christian in general, there's sacraments that Christ instituted. There's more to that sacramental life that Christ instituted, and so living that life and seeing the fruit of the graces on our family, and we would, I mean, one of the coolest things too was, as busy as my parents were, we would sit down every night and we'd have dinner together. We would always have night prayer before bed, and it, prioritizing taking off for Christmas and Easter, and going to church like every Sunday. There was like, even when we were on vacations, like the cool thing about the Catholic Church is it's universal, and no matter where you're at in the world. I pray for all of my patients on a very consistent basis, if not daily, every few days. There I specifically come to mind like a few patients that I'll be praying for their situations, and I'll I also journal every day, so just say for my patients' intentions and stuff, say a prayer for them, and then we have Christian music playing in all of our offices, so it's a calming atmosphere when they come in. They can come in and relax, and know they're loved no matter what, and yeah, it's a big part of the culture of our businesses. So trying to heal, and like our bodies are amazing, and through the forces that are at hand, just through adjustments, like we are able to express life more fully, and like that's the way God made it. To other alumni is I don't want to just say like get involved, but like through your involvement, you're going to find people that are able to help and support you. We're already isolated enough in the world of social media and in our own bubbles, and watching what other people are doing. If you have that, person-to-person interaction of support, of whether it's doctors in your area, which I know multiple in my area because I've gone and visited their practices, and shake hands, and just that on each other's team and helping each other out is a much more fruitful or better world viewpoint than somebody as competition, and therefore you have the same goal of helping the community. And you don't develop those relationships without reaching out and getting involved in, whether it's a local state organization, which I recommend everybody does, or if it's by getting involved still with Life University as your alma mater. There's so much support that is out there, because when you graduate, everybody's got like the trials that the world's going to give you, and you get reminded of your why when you are surrounded by people that are on the same mission.